Hello, it's Jeanette with Amazing Paper Crafts. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm back with another video tutorial, and today I'm going to show you how I made this pretty ornate card. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at all that decoration in. And this card measures 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And I'm also going to show you how I made this envelope using one of our basic white medium size envelopes. I'm going to show you how I cut it down and the measurement so that I could have a custom envelope for this card. It fits really perfectly in here like that. See? I'll show you how I did it. So what I'm going to be using today is the Treasured Medallions stamp set. Now this comes as a bundle with the Treasured Medallions. Where's my stamp? I know I had it right here. Oh, it's so big, right? It's so big I couldn't see it. This is the Treasured Medallions punch, where you can make a really pretty label like I did here. With those, I don't know if you can see the little tips on there. Really cute. So let's just get started, okay? Now that one I'm using Misty Moonlight, but you know I like to change things up, and I just wanted to let you know that when you're done with the process, you can make a set of 4 of these cards, okay? You get 4 of the same cards by doing it the way I'm going to show you how I do it. Now I'm going to start out with a piece of cardstock that measures 8 by 8. Okay, that's an 8-inch square, and I need to find the middle, okay, right here, so that I can measure and place the stamp where I want it on the Stamparatus. So what I'm going to use is just my ruler. So this is how I find the center of things. I take my ruler from corner to corner, and I'll take a pencil, and I'm not going to worry about erasing this line because we'll be using the other side of the paper. I'm going to draw a line this way, and I'll draw another line on the other corners, from the other corner to corner. Okay, and now this is just an approximate, okay? So let me put my ruler away and my pencil. And now I'm going to take the stamp, and I'm going to take my Stamparatus. I don't need the magnets just yet, but I will be needing the magnets in a minute. Now I'm going to put this on here, but like I say, I'm not stamping on here. We'll stamp on the other side. But what I'm using this for is to find the center of the stamp, like right here. And I don't really want it to where the tips, these little tip designs are on the lines. I want it right in between. So I'm just eyeballing it to make sure that we've got enough decoration on all 4 corners. That's what we're going to have, decoration on 4 corners. But I want to make sure that these lines go right in the center of these little divots that are in the corners right here. I think you know what I'm talking about, right? Make sure you have this lined up perfectly on your Stamparatus, and you're going to pick that up like that, and then you're going to flip this over, and you're going to take your cinnamon cider, which is the color that I'm going to be working with today, and I'm going to just ink this up really good. And we are going to stamp this down right in the center of this paper. It doesn't look like it's in the center, but it is, because this paper is going off the edge right there. Now you want to just give it a nice press to make sure that you've got a good impression. Oops, see? Stamparatus is so good for this. You can stamp it back down, and now you've got your nice impression. Isn't that pretty? Okay, now I'm going to put this away for just a couple seconds or minutes. And I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. And what I'm going to do is I am going to cut this paper into 4 by 4 inch squares. So I'm going 4 inches this way. I'm going 4 inches this way. Okay, I think you kind of know what I'm going to do, right? And I just stuck my finger in the ink pad, but I'm going to be using that ink pad again, so I'm leaving it open. That's the dangers of working with open pads, working around open ink pads. Okay, so I'm going to put this away for now. And I'm going to bring my Stamparatus back in. And I am going to take, put the ink on that side. I'm going to take and I'm going to put the design on the corner here, on all the outer corners, like that. Oops. Like this, and like that. And we're matching up all the corners on the inside here. Now, try to get as perfect as you can, but if you can't, it's going to be okay, because sometimes when you're trimming, you're not exactly perfect. Now, I am going to be using my magnets to hold this still. Let me grab the other magnet, because if I don't, these do tend to move around on me. All right, now I'm going to ink this back up. Oops. Now you're going to need to press, especially right in the middle where it doesn't always want to make a good impression where all those seams meet. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, push a little bit more right here. I think that's going to be good enough for right now. Let's take our magnets. Make sure you don't put your magnets close to each other, because it's going to take a strong man, a Superman, in order to get them apart. Okay, so I'm just saying that because I'm such a weakling. I would tell my husband to take them apart. Now, what I'm doing is I am matching up the designs right here and there, making sure I have a blank in the middle to do my next stamp with. Okay, let's bring our magnets back. And I'm going to ink this up real good. Yeah, just try to make sure you're pressing really good. Get that really good impression here. And that's it right there. Okay. Take the magnets, and you just got one more corner here. I'm just going to flip it around to that one last blank corner. Grab our stamp, ink pad, rather. Ink up the stamp. Oop, forgot the magnets. Very important. Oops. Ah! See why you don't want the magnets to stick together? Now I have just folded my paper here. Let me just straighten this out again here. This is not good. Okay. Magnet right there. And make sure you've got all your seams together. I'll have to smooth that out there. See what happens with those magnets? They are so strong. I'm not sure if I did this, but I'm doing this again. Okay. And now for the last time, to get that last corner of your paper, we're stamping. Okay. I think that will do. Let's see what we have here. Yep, I've got it on all four corners. Now I'm going to put this back in like that. Just get a better impression on here. And I'm not worried that this ink is here, because I can just wipe it right off. My Stamparatus there. Okay, so now I've got design. I know that's a little crinkly there, but we're not going to use that one. We'll just set that one aside, and we'll set that one aside for right now. But like I said, you're going to have 4 cards that you could make your designs with, or your thank you cards with, or whatever you're going to put. in here for a sentiment. Now I need to cut out my design for the middle here, and for that I'm going to be using one of the dies from the Ornate Frames dies. Now, in one of my videos I said this was going to be retiring, but it is not. It is not going to be retiring. So let me take one of these. Just going to work with one for right now. And I'm going to try to eyeball the center the best I can here. Now this is just a little bit wider. It's not a perfect square. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to eyeball it here. But before I do, I almost made a mistake. Not really a mistake, but I almost forgot something. I want to do this little design right here. So let's take this stamp off here, and we'll clean that up later. And we are going to bring in that little stamp, and that's this one right here. And we're going to just take it to the corner of our, take our cardstock to the corner, and we're going to place this right about here. Let's see, do I want that facing up? Or do I want it facing this way? I think I want it facing this way. What did I do before? No, I had it facing up before. This little arrow thing. I don't know exactly what this is. It's cute, but it's like some kind of a motif. Don't know what it is. So I'm going to pick that up with my Stamparatus plate. I'm going to ink this up very carefully. Very, very carefully. Okay, and now I'm going to stamp that down, and I'm going to turn this, and there we have it. Okay, now let's take this to the die cutting machine with our little frame from the Ornate Frames dies. Okay, let's make sure that this is centered really nicely. And I will be right back. Now what you're going to have is a label that you can stamp on or use on a different card. Okay, just take all the little elements out of there. And now this is the frame that I want right here. And I'm going to take my piece of designer series paper in the cinnamon cider. Now this piece measures 4 1/4 by 4, I'm not 4 1/4. It's 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. And now I am just going to adhere this right on top of there, just like that. Now I'm going to use some Tombow Mono multi-purpose liquid glue. To adhere everything down here. And we're going to have a really skinny border all the way around like that. And now we're going to take our card base. Now this card base measures 8 1/2 by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 4 1/4. And we're going to take this card base. Let's make sure that it is creased really well. Okay. And we're going to just go ahead and place this right here. I'm going to use some more Tombow adhesive. So you can use any side of this designer series paper. I decided to use the polka dots because I like the polka dots the best. Okay. And now if you're going to flip your card open this way, then you want to make sure that this oblong piece of this, you know, this is not a perfect square here. It's a little bit longer this way than it is this way. So I'm going to place it here because I want my sentiment to be right across here, and I want the card to open like this. Okay, so let's make sure you got even border. Oops, this kind of shifted on me. I didn't wait till it dried, so I'm going to peel this up. Try to move it over a little bit. If it will. No, it's not going to. It's not budging. So we're going to do a neater job next time, right? For the picture, I'll put another one together. But there we go. All right, now let's work on the label. For the label, I'm going to be using a strip of basic white. And this measures 3/4 of an inch. And I don't really know how long that is. Let's see. because I'm going to be cutting it down. But I'm going to bring in this punch here, and I'm going to go ahead and stick this through here and make that top part. See right here? I'm just going to punch that part out, but I don't want to throw this part away because that's going to be used for the measurement on the other side, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to bring my cinnamon cider ink in here. I'm going to take and make sure that my stamp is nice and clean, and I'm going to be using the thank you from a stamp called, from a stamp called Path of Petals. I'm going to be using this little thank you one right here. Okay. Whoops. I keep banging my lamps over here. Sorry about that. Okay, now I am just going to stamp right in the center here, trying to make it straight. I'm looking straight down on it. Okay, now how do I know how to position this on this side? Well, here's a little trick I learned. Not sure who I learned it from, but I did learn it. So I'm going to go ahead and use it. So I'm going to take my trimmer, my paper trimmer back here. Okay. And I am going to, if you can see on the bottom part here, let me move this stuff out of the way. Yeah, okay. If you can see the bottom part here, I'm going to take that little piece here and I'm going to find where it looks good to me, where it's even, making sure that I'm spacing it out like right here, and then I'm going to line that up with the blade that's going to come down here the best I can. All right, and then I'm going to close this down. I am going to slice that right there, and then I'm going to put this back in my punch right here, back in the punch. Now if you can't center it really good, what I like to do is I like to use my take your pick tool to because this is kind of a short label, so but I just want to make sure that it's centered right here. Can you see that? I want to make sure it's centered from here to there, so that when I punch, see what I got. There you go. Even on both sides. It's a little trick I learned. I don't know where I learned it from. There's probably a lot of demonstrators that use that technique, but it's just easier for me to do it that way. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a blending brush, and I'm going to take one of my new blending brushes, and I'm going to take some ink, some more ink, and I'm just going to very, very lightly, now let me get a piece of paper here so I don't mess things up. Very, very lightly color the corners here. I mean, not the corners, the edges. I'm just lightly coloring the edges because I just want to give it just a little hint of color, just so that it looks pretty on all sides. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of taking most of the color off here, just so that when I brush it, I'll have this. Okay. Now let's put this all away. I love these brushes, these blending brushes. They're so nice. Okay, I'm gonna raise this up on Stampin' Dimensionals. If I could find my dimensionals in this mess. I just used them, and here they are. Okay, and we're gonna put 2 dimensionals on this right here. I'm going to try to make sure that this is right in the center here the best I can. Probably need to come over just a little bit and make sure that it's straight. Okay. Then I'm going to take some of these, let me see, where's my other packet? Do I have it here? I have another packet that I already started, and now I don't see it. Oh, we'll just open this one up. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to take these Cinnamon Cider enamel glue dots, and that's from the 2020 to 2022 in color enamel glue dots package. And what I like to do is I like to bend this so that I could pick it, take your pick tool and pick it up like this. All right. I'm going to put one on one side, and then I'm going to put one on the other side, bending them so I can get under it, because I always have a hard time when I try to just pick it up. I end up picking up that little clear dome that's on it. So that is my way around that. But here we go. Oh, I'm not done yet, because I told you I was going to show you how I did my envelope. So let's bring out one of the basic white envelopes here. This is not hard at all. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. Okay, this is the medium envelope. I'm going to take my paper trimmer and I'm going to cut 1/4 of an inch off each side. The one side, the right side and the left side of the envelope. 1/4 of an inch. That's all you need. Okay. And now, put this away over here. I'm going to bring out my Simply Scored scoring tool. I'm going to put this in like this. Now you're going to have these little flaps here that you don't have to remove them at all, because you're going to end up cutting them off when you do this. So I just leave them on here. I'm going to take my scoring tool with the big ball, and I need to score 3/8 of an inch. But since it's kind of hard for me to get my hand in there, my big fat fingers in here, I'm going to cut 3/8 of an inch from this end here. Now this now measures 5 1/4 inches, so 3/8 of an inch in would be 4 7/8. So just make sure that this is aligned right here on this edge, right here, and you're going to, I noticed that you're not seeing the measurements here. So it's going to be, right there, 4 7/8. Okay, and we're just going to score it all the way down and do the same on the other side at the 4 7/8 inch mark. 4 7/8 right there, all the way down. All right, so I've got that score line there. Now let me put the scoreboard away. I'm going to take my paper sticks out, and what I'm going to do on this bottom flap here is just completely cut off that score line. Now you can do this with your paper trimmer if you're really neat, and you can line it up perfectly, but you want that that score line completely gone. And then I'm going to just do a little bit of a wedge right there, and I'm going to do the same on this side, cutting that score line completely off as neatly as you can, and then just make a little wedge right there. All right, and now on the top you're going to do the same thing. On that top flap, just cut that score line completely down to that fold, and then make a little wedge, and on this side too. Now you don't have to worry about putting tear and tape on anything. All they need to do is moisten that flap to seal it. So you still have all of the moisture, all of the glue on that flap. You didn't cut any of that glue off. So now to put it together, I'm just going to fold this part back up like it was. I'm going to fold these over like this, but I'm not doing it so that I could glue them like that, because I'm just kind of doing it for measurement's sake. I want to make sure that these, when I tuck them under, that none of this part here is going over the edge. So when I do it like that, it lines up perfectly. So let's put some tear and tape on here. You could use your seal adhesive too if you want, but I'm going to use some tear and tape. Let's see, where am I here? Going to wear it like a bracelet, like I always do, and just kind of lay a piece of tear and tape down here. I'm going to grab my little block and tear that, and on the other side, grab my little block and tear it. Keep getting little goobers everywhere. All right, now let's take your pick tool and we will peel off the backer paper of the tear and tape. Okay, and just make sure you got it nice and straight. And now you have your beautiful envelope that fits your card perfectly. See that? See? Now I've got 2 thank you cards here. And of course I'm going to have to fix this one, or I will make another one for the picture. But these two are my cards. And I hope that I have taught you something with this, because, you know, I just wanted this design to be on the corner. And it was like, okay, how am I going to do that? The measurement was so much easier when I did it so that I could make 4 cards each whenever I do that. So I hope you like this project, and I hope you try this, because this was kind of a lot of fun for me, and I hope that it will be for you if you try it. And if you need any of the tools and supplies that I used in this video, please go to my website at www.geamazingpapercrafts.stampinup.net. All of the supplies are going to be listed in the description. So once again, I am Jeanette with Geamazing Paper Crafts, and you make it a great day. Bye-bye.